Curry's got the ball. 13 seconds. Here we go. Curry splitting traffic. Steps out. Leans back. He traveled. Turnover.
Oh, my.
He had plenty of time. 10.1 to go in the game.
He had a layup if it had gone all the way to the basket. They were down by 2, but he was looking for a 3.
A bang-bang situation, dumb play by me to not take the layup. I got a little confused on what the time and score was, honestly. Went for the hero shot. I didn't think it was a travel to the point where you don't let the play run out, but who am I to say?
The Morning Roast is live on YouTube right now. Take it away, Bonte.
All right, Steph Curry with a game high, or excuse me, team high, 32 points for the Golden State Warriors, 11-24, 5-14 from the three-point line, 5-6. And you heard him discussing the travel call. He didn't necessarily agree with it. I know last night we were having a discussion on Warriors post-game live. Festus and Darrell thought it was a travel. Bully didn't think it was a travel. I was on the fence because of the way the game was called. And look, in a normal NBA game, before the memo came out earlier this season or during the second week of the season, which is weird. Nobody heard about the memo before the year. We get the memo during the season, the second week of the season, about the traveling call and the carrying and all that stuff. I just thought it was a travel based on the way the game was called. The way the game was called yesterday, that was a travel. If you're going to call the travels early in the game, then you kind of have to call that one, even though it's Stephen Curry and he's a star in the league. With all that said, was it a travel? It's tough to tell.
Well, it's the first one that he did earlier in the game was a travel, okay? Right. That one, to me, although the left foot came down slightly before the right foot or whatever, maybe I have it backwards, it looked like a jump stop, okay? When you do a jump stop, whether you're going forward, backwards, left, or right, you are allowed, after a jump stop, to pivot. That's what I thought he did in that sequence. To your point about, travels being called, and there's a lot of times guys catch the ball on a gather for a three-pointer.
Right.
JP's an example. Yep. He gets a lot of these calls.
Right. Well, he got one yesterday. It was like you're by yourself. You don't have to toe tap or shuffle. It was like he was moonwalking out there at American Airlines Arena. Remember that first one he got called for?
We call that the gather, right? Like when you don't catch it in a jump-stopping fashion and one foot's ahead of the other, they will get you on that one from time to time. In this one, it looked like to me, he jump-stopped backwards to the left. I would have said, because it's almost, we're slowing it down on the replay. Right. In real time, both feet came down as a jump stop. He's using his pivot, but whatever. Like, to your point, they're all over it. The bigger thing is this, is that I think in the NBA as a whole, if they're going to do the whole revisionist history on what a travel is, what a travel isn't, the one thing you can't do is take away the jump stop, because that is a fundamental part of early stages basketball, whether it's high school, college, etc. Mm-hmm. And once you come to a good jump stop, you should be allowed to pivot in any direction as long as you maintain your pivot foot.
The key was, which was Stephen Curry's pivot foot? Was it the left foot? Was it the right foot? I'm not sure about that, but this is some interesting data that Sam Lubman sent us last night. This tweet was sent by Tom Haberstraw. You know how we feel about Tom Haberstraw with all these numbers or whatnot, but this is very interesting. Last season, there were 1.3 travels called per game. This October, it was 1.7 travels called per game. The month of November, 3.5 travels called per game, a big-time spike in traveling. Mm-hmm. And it feels like Jordan Poole's been on that list. Mm-hmm. Now Stephen Curry's on that list. Luka Doncic's looking around. What's going on here? The traveling is getting a little out of control. And I wish they would have sent the memo before the season. And Steve Kerr gets this like, look, I look at my email. There's a memo 7 games into the season about walking and palming the basketball. What the hell is wrong with this league? Now, here's what Steve Kerr had to say about the traveling, because he was not happy either. Shasky?
Okay.
Calls are calls, so some go your way, some don't. I guess the NBA is making an emphasis on plays like that. I don't know if it was a travel or not. I haven't seen it, but it's going to be really interesting to see. Like, if we're going to call that now, we got to call it all the time, because it happens 30 times a game. Guys change pivot feet. So I'm really happy that the officials are going to emphasize it, but you got to be consistent with it.
He literally is taking the words out of my mouth. Ponte, the reality is that there are way too many travels. There are way too many carries in a normal NBA game. I think one of the big knocks for a lot of people who are diehard, whether it's high school, college, whatever, they're basketball fans, but they kind of loathe the NBA. I think a big part of it is the looseness of the rules. Klay Thompson's a great example.
Right.
Monte, how many times has Klay caught a transition, layup, dunk, whatever, and taken like four steps?
I mean, LeBron's walked his whole career, and I love LeBron James.
No doubt. And look, what makes these guys so great is they find a slight little advantage loophole in the rules, and they try to create a new move. And until it gets adjudicated out of the league, they're going to continue to try to stretch the limits of that. But like the fact that like changing your pivot foot, that should be standardized. And he's right. It should get called 15 times a game. I mean, it really should.
I mean, if that's the case, James Harden's going to get called for traveling every single possession, every single shot attempt. And I'm here for it, too. Let's go to Schlep Rock in Mountain View. Schlep Rock, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's going on, Roaster? This is what I think is what happened last night. I don't know what happened throughout the NBA, but as far as the Warrior game, go back to the game prior to that with the technicals, and then the Warriors decided to clown referees at the end of the game with the towel on that. I think what happened here was just retributions for the Warriors players, showing up the referees the game before, and they go, okay, you guys are going to do that to us. We're going to get you back this way. And I think that's what, transpired last night. What do you guys think?
Somebody brought that up last night because Spencer Dinwiddie got ejected from the game with 10:52 left in the fourth quarter for the elbow.
Yeah.
And they called it a flagrant 2. Whether or not it was accidental, you be the judge. But he got kicked out. And a lot of people thought that, it was retribution for Tony Brothers getting suspended. Now, Tony Brothers got suspended. He got suspended for basically calling Spencer Dinwiddie out of his name. And Matt Barnes sent the clip yesterday on Instagram basically saying, how is this not bigger news? Why did they sweep this under the rug? Now, Tony Brothers, here I'll read the report. Referee Tony Brothers was forced to miss one game assignment after Spencer Dinwiddie said Brothers referred to him as a BAM. I'll let you be the judge of that acronym and let you use your imagination. No discipline was formally announced because it was not a suspension without pay. But he missed a game assignment because of what he said to Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, we all watched the Tim Donaghy doc. A lot of us did. They knew Iverson would get our referees, and they would go back and go get Iverson. They would call him for carries and stuff like that. Referees do have agendas. Now, did they have an agenda against the Golden State Warriors last night for what they were doing in Minnesota on Sunday? No idea. But there is something to that, Chasky, and I'm not scoffing. I'm not sweeping that under the rug anymore after watching that Donaghy doc.
Okay, so I don't want to defend the referees like I'm not trying to like just play, defend the referees at every turn. But I cannot watch a game without seeing Draymond, Luka, LeBron just harass officials the entire time. So like I'm not here to cape up for Tony Brothers, but can we agree? Respect is a two-way street. And in this situation, there is a clear lack of respect just in general from the superstars in the league to every single referee. Not all of them. It's not I don't think Steph Curry's disrespectful to referees, though I will say it feels like this year he's been very supercharged when it comes to his emotions towards officials. And I think that you have the top dogs in the league not respecting the officials. It trickles down to every other player in the league. And clearly, the officials are human. We know this. And they're going to react accordingly. I hadn't considered the Warriors' reactions in the Minnesota game and how it would carry over. Yeah. I don't dismiss that. I bet that that's part of it, whether consciously or subconsciously. But, Bonte, in a game where I watched Luka Doncic literally turn and snap his head 65 times, I get it from the officials. I'd be like, Luka, shut up and play.
Well, he does play. These referees are terrible. I'm tired of the referees, damn it. The NBA referees, NFL officials, they're terrible. The clown show at the end of the third quarter yesterday tried to kill the entire flow of the basketball game.
On every play,
I get it.
Just for Luka, I just want to pause on Luka. If you're complaining on every single play, then nothing's a foul. You're the boy who cried wolf. To me, he has to be more discerning.
He still got to the free throw line 15 times.
Because he's complaining the whole game.
But he got to the free throw line 15 times. And dropped the triple-double, 41, 12, and 12.
He's awesome.
So, I mean, he gets to the line 11 times. Whether he complains, he gets to the line 11 times a game on average. On average, I guarantee you he's one of the league leaders when it comes to that. So
it's baked into his game,
but there is some agendas here. Referees do have agendas. They carry it from game to game. They protect each other. We talk about the brotherhood in football and basketball and baseball. The referees have a brotherhood too. And it was put on blast during the Donnie Heat documentary. And there's no doubt in my mind these guys hold grudges at times. Tony Brothers is notorious for holding grudges. I hear from players, hear from coaches. He's one of the worst referees out there. Scott Foster, you don't think he holds grudges? They see what happens on a day-to-day basis. And the referees, let's hear from Draymond Green.
It sounds like I'm caping up for the officials.
No, you're not.
But what I'm saying is that I do think that we've reached a point where a lot of the players, not all of them, a lot of the players literally complain on every single possession. And so, are the referees great? No, they're not perfect. They're not great. They're pretty good, though. I would say they're pretty damn good for the most part.
NBA referees?
It's a very difficult job.
Oh, they're the worst. NBA referee, I'm sorry.
It's
NBA
a difficult
officials.
Job, though.
They come in here hot. Yeah, it is difficult. But you know what? You know what you're signing up for. NBA refs are by far the worst crews in all of sports, in my opinion. But it's no different than, say, a wide receiver every single play running up saying, PI, throw me the flag. You know what I'm saying? Every play of football, people are crying about a flag.
Yeah, but then they don't go over. Like, I watched Luka, for example, and I'm using him as just an example because we just played him. He goes over to the official, and he's holding his arm, and he's talking for like 45 seconds with the official while the play is going down in the other direction.
You can't do that in football because you got the play clock running down. You got to get back to the huddle. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that in basketball. You got a dead ball, time stops. You could go over there, chop it up with them all you want to.
The officials suck, B.
The NBA officials are by far the worst. I can't cape for them. We're showing some of the moments from the golden era where Andrew Wiggins ducked all over Luka Doncic. And Mark Davis ruined the moment. Mark Davis, that freaking guy, I've seen him this year at games just like, oh, my God, what is he doing? Here's what Draymond Green had to say about foul calls yesterday.
Well, we got a couple early fouls. We have to defend better. But there were some, I'm going to save my money. We got to defend better, I suppose.
Let's go to Coach Hall in San Diego real quick. Shasky, he wants to talk about the referees. A lot of people want to talk about the refs this morning. Let's go to Coach Hall. Coach Hall, what's happening?
Woo, what's up, fellas? I was so mad. I'm glad y'all didn't catch what I was saying about the refs. Just real quick, in regard to the game, I think we got a little 3-point happy.
Agreed.
I think driving to the cup was working for us. We should have just kept taking it in there because they wasn't stopping us. Can't nobody stay in front of our starting five. Nobody in the league. But if anybody is watching the league, and I have League Pass, I watch every game this year, it is something going on with these refs. I don't know if it's like just on purpose or what, but that whole Tony Brothers, Spencer Dinwiddie situation is nuts. And I don't know what the agenda is, or maybe not against the Warriors, but every game, come on now, there is something going on.
I don't dismiss that. I don't dismiss that. But will you meet me in the middle and just I hear you guys, and I agree with you 9 times out of 10. But at the same time, simultaneously, isn't it exhausting to get yelled at by Luka on both ends of the floor
that's just
for
one
the
player.
Entire game?
That's just one player, though,
Draymond does it too.
Coach Hall's gone. All right. Coach Hall, great call. He brought up League Pass. And you guys always get on me about watching League Pass. I watch all these games. Around the league, I'm just. It's not just last night, Shasky.
No, I know that.
It's around the league. I just want consistency from the officials. And yes, players do have to complain. The Hardens, the LeBrons,
do they?
The Lukas,
they have to complain.
The Lukas, they get on my damn nerves.
Okay, so there you go.
They
so
do
we
get
can
on my nerves.
middle.
No,
right.
no, I'll meet you there.
All right.
But there's no doubt these referees can change the tenor of a basketball game.
I don't.
Guys are in the bonus early.
You're right.
The flow of the game. The whistles. I mean, just look at the last 3 minutes of the third quarter last night.
Well, there's no flow to the game. That I agree with you.
The last 3 minutes of the third quarter last night should be sent to Adam Silver saying,
I'm with
you know what? You need to fix this.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Well, even
this game's on NBC and TNT, and this is what's happening at the end of the third quarter of a great basketball game? Come on.
Luka went to the lane for a layup, and Steph Curry literally waved. He didn't even touch him. He waved, and it's an and one. And Luka's smiling and laughing, and then he's still talking about another call that he missed 2 possessions ago. And I'm like, Luka, you just got gifted an and one.
By the way, that last segment was brought to you by Boxer Gerzer, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Anthony Slater, 8 o'clock. And a special guest, 8:30, not for me, for Joe Shasky. They're giving Joe Shasky all the birthday love this week. They're giving him 3 days of birthday love. Oh,
okay.
Special guest at 8:30.
Birthday love. What am I, 12?
Exactly. I mean, jeez. Anyway, you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM in HD1, San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. What up, Twitch? Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. We're going to get the King of the Hill. Let's push it to 720, love it. King of the Hill, 720. We'll get these calls here, and we'll get some rest. I want to read something from Matt Barnes real quick, Shasky.
Okay.
And this is what I've always believed. I've been on this for a while. But Matt Barnes, when he posted the Tony Brothers stuff, said, how come this wasn't public knowledge? And he goes, here's what needs to happen. Here's what needs to happen. The referee grades need to be public knowledge. They should be interviewed after games. That's what I want. I want them to be interviewed.
I'm with you on that.
They need to be interviewed.
Yeah.
They should be fined and suspended for blowing games. There needs to be accountability on their part. For some reason, they always slip through the cracks, and it's BS.
I don't know about being fined and suspended. That I don't know. I don't know how you like that. That I think gets into a slippery slope because then guys are reluctant to make calls,
right?
Because they're for fear of retribution or whatever. You want them to be as free-minded as possible. You don't want them thinking about, well, if I call this and it's not right, I mean, I'm going to get myself in trouble. And I'm going to cost myself money. Like I think that's a slippery slope. Getting questioned after the game, that's a bare minimum. I'm here for that. I do want to, like, okay, why was this particular call called instead of that one?
Right.
I'm okay with that. Even if it's just you get 5 minutes, 7 questions or whatever it is, set up some sort of a standard and let's do this. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I am too.
But I think the bigger thing, and I agree with you on this,
it's not the reason why the Warriors lost last night. I don't want to come off as the referee cheated the Warriors or whatnot. I'm just I'm more just flustered with the way officials have adapted to the game, with the traveling, and I'm watching all around the league, and I get it. Go get another ref. How about you give me a ref in each quarter of the half court, right? You got a ref in the back by the half court. You got a ref on the baseline.
Now you want more whistles?
Just give me 4 refs if you can't get it right, because sometimes there's a referee under the basket.
I know.
And a referee for the back court will call it from under the hoop. It's like, how the hell did you see that where there's a ref right under the position? He's not calling anything.
Yeah, well,
it's a joke.
That's my biggest issue is the two things right now. And this is where I will agree with you. Too many out-of-position calls. Is that one that you illustrated right there? The wrong official making that call. The second one is the consistency. If you're going to have physicality on one end, and on the very next possession, you have the same level of physicality, and it's an inconsistent either whistle or non-whistle. That's where the frustration starts for me. So I'm with you on that. I also understand it is a very difficult game to officiate, especially when you have someone like Luka. He comes to a jump stop, he pivots, he pump fakes, he pivots, he pump fakes, he leans in, and like he's searching, he's foul hunting at that point as opposed to playing basketball.
Yeah, it's the James Harden.
It is, and it's very annoying to watch.
But everybody loved James Harden. Everybody was loving James. Not everybody, but a lot of people were hurt. I couldn't stand watching James Harden play. And Luka, he's getting close. Although Luka does post up, James Harden doesn't do that. It's dribble, 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 dribble. Let me hop step, back pedal, launch a 3 from 30 feet.
He's so good at passing, too. That's the problem. Like Luka can be so good at times and so fun to watch, but then he does stupid stuff like you saw last night.
I wouldn't want to play with him for the simple fact that when I do get the ball, it's like, better make a play. Here, shot clock's winding down. Make a play. It's like hot potato. I think actually, and obviously you could say, Joe, they need a better player alongside of him. Okay, fine. I'll listen to that. I would hate wanting to play with him, because it would be very difficult for me to get in rhythm because he's got the rock the whole game.
Dribble, 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 dribble. That's what he does. Dribble, 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 dribble. Jim in St. Louis, dribble, dribble, dribble. You're on the morning roast.
Do you thizzle? Dribble, dribble.
Dribble, 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 dribble. Foul call. Jim, what's happening?
Hey, guys, this is the first time I've ever called out there, but I got to share with you. I got lit up with that game last night, primarily with Luka's left hand constantly pushing back Kuminga,
Thank you.
Wiggins, everybody else.
Hooking with that left hand. He was hooking, too, while he was driving.
He drives me nuts.
It's unbelievable.
He drives me nuts.
And the back bumping. Jesus criminy. You couldn't put a tank in there to stop him. He back bump you.
Thank you.
I got so lit up this morning, I wrote Silver and the NBA, and I let him have it.
Wow.
And I told them that I would stop watching this game if you're going to let your stars start doing this Bob Lambert kind of crap. And then the officiating, I appreciate you guys really addressing this morning because I thought I was losing it seeing this stuff.
Oh, man. So
did you pen a letter? Yeah, did you pen a letter or did you type an email?
I did an email to them. Now,
Really?
I also called them. They do a voice thing, but you know what? Whether or not anybody listens to it, it's contacts at NBA, whatever it is. And then I also wrote Bob Myers this morning and let him know that I let him have it.
I love that, Jim. Go ahead, Jim. Finish your call.
The NBA and the officials did. The NBA and the officials lost that game, even though the Warriors shot poorly.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very poorly.
And that's the thing. I don't want to come off blaming the referees. I know we're talking refs.
They were 3 of 18 outside of Steph Curry.
Yeah. It's Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole combined for 3 for 18 from the 3-point line. Andrew Wiggins, a quiet game, 10 points, just
Did he
one
score in the first
rebound.
half?
Yeah, just one rebound. He only scored 2 in the first half.
Klay
was scoreless in the first half, and Jordan Poole had 3 in the first half. They had a combined 5 points at halftime, yet they were down 1. So I thought, man, if one of those guys get hot,
I'm with you.
Let's go. They didn't get hot. They struggled last night, and Klay, it was his first struggle in 5 games. Let's not go crazy.
Yeah.
He had a great look at the end of the game. Great look.
That was such a beautiful play design.
Steve Kerr, great play call there. Out of the timeout.
Steph sets the pick.
Great pick by Steph because he knew he was going to draw all the attention.
JP
Klay
looping one way, Wiggins going the other. That was
Klay
really
was wide open. Great play call.
Yeah.
He missed it.
Flare
And that's
out by Klay.
and that's why you lose. You don't make enough shots. There's a sequence there. I want to say they missed like 7 or 8 straight shots.
In a row.
That possession where they grabbed 2 offensive rebounds. They just couldn't get a bucket. Warriors lost that game. It wasn't due to the referees. The referees were inconsistent on both sides of the floor.
And when Hardaway Jr. opens the game with like a 4-point play and hitting a couple threes, Bob Fitzgerald's like, he's been ice cold for the last X amount of games. Yeah. And then boom, boom, he hits multiple threes. I'm like, oh, great. It's going to be one of those games.
His last 4 games, he combined for like 14 points. Tim Hardaway Jr.
It felt like he had 14 in the first half yesterday.
And he was big yesterday. He finished with 22.
There you go.
Finished with 22.
Did he have multiple 4-point plays?
The second one, it was a 4-point play, but he missed a free throw.
There you go.
He had a chance for a 4-point play. He had a chance for 2 4-point plays in one game. Unbelievable. Let's go to Anthony real quick before we hit the break.
Hey,
Anthony in Richmond, what's happening?
Oh, what's up, guys? So I want to bear with me. I might ruffle a feather or two. So you know how cops have a fraternity, they don't tell on each other, and and they ride with each other, even when they know someone's wrong. Well, in the Donaghy documentary, he expressed that, like, we're going to get this guy back, and we keep mental notes and this, that, and the other. And I think that's just a product of, like, humans. Like, you ride with your people. Like, you guys have a little fraternity at the station, at my little warehouse. Even though I'm a driver, like the guys, if somebody comes in there, like I'm gonna ride with them, right?
Yep.
Because, like, those are my guys. So like that's what happens because it's the human element. I don't think it's right at all. I don't know how they fix it, but I know that that's really what it comes down to because they take it personal and then they don't forget. And like we have to remember, whether it's right or wrong, because I believe it's completely wrong, that like we're dealing with humans. We're dealing with emotions.
Agreed.
We're dealing with people that are going to take things personal. It's very hard not to take things personal, just because we're all humans. And like we all share that same kind of like, like we all share the same like makeup. So like it's going to happen regardless. They do need to fix it because you shouldn't be able to do that. But how can you tell someone not to take something personal, or how can you if you're on the jury, hey, I stricken that from what you just heard. Well, I already heard it, so I'm going to use it anyway, right? So like,
yes.
I just wanted to kind of say that because I mean, I like people have these different solutions, but it's like, hey man, we're dealing with humans, and humans are going to do what
No
humans
doubt.
Point.
The
Anthony, that's a great call.
The fraternity here at 95.7 The Game, the brotherhood that we have here at the Bay Area Sports Leader, 95.7 The Game. What's coming up on the game? Sponsored by
resembles
NB.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
where everyone's trying to throw their family crest up on the wall.
I'm not going to go there. NB Jesse
I'm a
Patey.
snob.
What's coming up is King of the Hill. We'll get to some 49ers. And then Anthony Slater at
The
8
enemy
o'clock.
of my enemy
Are
is
you a
now
commercial?
my friend.